If you're ever wondering if the crew and riders get as bored as you do on a slow day, the answer is yes. But slow riding means a fast finish, and Cadel Evans, ever the opportunist, uses BMC's excess energy to try and split the field over this late rise. Sky joined the effort, but the sprinter squads did a great job stitching things up, though it also gutted the leadouts, and after Garmin's Tyler Farrar overlapped wheels with Lampre's Roberto Ferrari, only a dozen or so riders were left in contention. For the second time this Giro, Giant Shimano found itself with a sprinter of convenience, and Albert Timmer tries to get the drop, going outside 450 meters to go. Nasser Bouhanni hops on as he roars past, boxing out Bardiani CSF's Enrito Battaglin, who tries to go on the FDJ rider's wheel, but can't quite pinch out Giacomo Nizzolo against the barriers. The Trek rider launches to the other side of the road around 150 meters to go, but Bouhanni is just too fast in the final 50 and notches his third stage of the Giro. Few more hills in stage 11 and no points for guessing who went after them. There was a big pile up on the descent. Perhaps you've seen the meme with Movistar's Adriano Malori. Lampre's Diego Ulissi was also caught up, which really isn't surprising. A second break went clear, but Androni Giocattoli whipped up the pace to chase it down, despite complaints from both Tinkoff, Saxo, and Evans. At 34k to go, Arredondo went clear again, rode right through the disintegrating break, and took the second KOM 20 seconds ahead of the field. During the regrouping, Tinkoff Saxo's Mick Rogers almost casually rode away, and despite not particularly aerodynamic number placement and a chase that got quite organized in the closing kilometers, he held on for the win. Stage 12 was a time trial, 2 modest climbs, but more importantly rain and very sharp corners. Many riders took it so easy that they bunched, unwilling to attempt passing, and with Giant Shimano's Tobias Ludvigsen careening over a guardrail here, you can't really blame them. Domenico Pozzovivo was the fastest up the opening climb, but was also seated more or less upright on his TT bike. OPQS's Rigoberto Uran was 15 seconds slower, but stuck to the aero bars much more closely on the descent and hit the halfway-ish time check, 27 seconds up on the previous pace setter and nearly a minute ahead of race leader Evans, who was not having a great day steering the bike. The BMC rider didn't let it shake him, but Uran was simply flawless, and with Ulysses sandwiched between them on the podium, obviously, the Colombian put a minute and a half into the BMC rider, taking the race lead by 37 seconds. Day between a time trial and a hilltop finish, not expecting much, so Katusha's Vlad Gusev decided to enliven things, crashing spectacularly while getting his raincoat caught in the rear wheel. Garmin's Thomas Dekker helpfully demonstrated how to do this safely 17k later. The field had the escape in hand most of the day, but then there was some hail and some wet finish circuits, and no one really wanted to work, so inside the final K we had 3 riders, and you'll see Bardiani's Marco Canola elbow Europcar's Angelo Tuluk to prevent getting boxed in. Androni's Jackson Rodriguez was more subtle in his technique, creeping off the barricades to try and push Canola wide, but a second elbow secured the Italian first place around the final bend. The finish stretch was almost too long. Rodriguez makes a good go at it, but Canola held on for the win. You'd think this would be a big GC day, but next week, might be why Arredondo passed on the break, leaving Lotto's Tim Wellens to win a high-contact sprint for the first major KOM, before Tinkoff Saxo's Nicholas Roche took the second. Breakaway riders attacked the descent, and Albert Timmer, having tried his hand at sprinting, decided to give it a go as a climber as well. Back in the GC group, Ajay Desert turned up the pace to launch Pozzovivo, and Movistar's Nairo Quintana finally responded. Up the road, Colombia's Harlinson Pantano and Sky's Dario Cataldo managed to overhaul Timmer, but the Sky rider wanted more effort from his companions, and as riders began to catch back on, he might have had a point. Only Enrico Battaglin could keep with the duo in the final stretch, but the Bardiani rider excels in hard, grinding sprints and punched past Cataldo with 10 meters to go. The GC group found the finish similarly tricky, as Astana's Fabio Aru and Tinkoff's Rafael Maica clawed back some time on Quintana and Pozzovivo, before the Colombian went clear in the closing meters. But nearly all the heads of state put at least a few seconds on Uran, despite teammate Walter Poel's efforts to hinder Evans on the line. You'd think this profile would be all GC, but Arredondo still went for it at 17k to go. It didn't work out as Mick Rogers drove the peloton forward for Rafael Maica. Pierre Roland kicked off the attacks around 5k to go, but an awkward period of marking and watching followed. Here's Evans literally riding on the other side of the road to watch the bunch for attacks. This lasted until 3k when Aru attacked and only Uran could follow. The duo caught the handful of lesser GC threats who escaped earlier before Aru surged again, using some helpful Tifosi to keep the chasers off his wheel. Quintana and Roland set off after him, but following a brief conversation with Fabio Duarte, Uran fell back. Aru took the stage while Uran limited his losses to Quintana to 20 seconds and more importantly gained another 30 seconds on Evans. Maica snuck in just behind the Maglia Rosa, closing to within a minute of Evans on a tense GC where the top 7 riders are now within 3 minutes and 4 seconds of the lead. I'm Cosmo Catalano, and that's how the race was won.
siete, o tu mi